What you want? What you want?
This is Nitrobex from the e-cigs. I'm here to talk to new vapers today. I get a lot of questions while I'm out in public vaping, and I want to reach out to the crowd there that is just trying to learn about this. A lot of people ask me, is that one of those e-cigarettes? Do they all look that funny? I've seen people with the little cigarette style ones. I'm going to talk about several different types of devices, and I'll start with the one everybody asks about, the little cigarette style one. This one happens to be a blue. I'm going to vape it real quick for you. Does produce vapor. The light is a little dumb to me, but some people like it. Some like it because you can get red ones that look like a cigarette. I suggest distancing yourself from this. It's cigarette size, but definitely in weight. I can't just, it doesn't just hang on your lip like a cigarette does. It's kind of weighing down on my lip. Price point, if you're using their pre-filled cartridges, is horrible. You can put a regular 510 cartomizer, atomizer. You can even put a tank on it, though that would be a little bit silly. It's a standard 510 connection on the blue. Some of them are not, though. What's great about these is it does make the public aware. They're familiar when I have this out because all my other batteries are dead of what it is. The others they look at and try to figure it out. So the next thing people generally go to after the little cig-like ones is an ego. This one happens to be an ego twist. I can change the voltage by twisting the bottom end of it. It has a little button you have to press. You can get little things to dress it up. So while I have bare connectors here, I can put a cone on it and make it look kind of like a big black cigar. Now, bad parts to these is it is a battery, so can't take the guts of it out. It's eventually going to go dead and stop charging. It's a consumable item, and you need at least two of them, one to vape while the other one's charging. That being said, you saw the vapor off the blue. I'm at 4.2 volts. This is EC Blend's all natural and organic creamsicles. So just to give you an idea. Much heavier vapor. Next, we're going to talk about mods. But before I do, I want to talk about batteries. A lot of people get intimidated by 18350, 14, the numbers there. We're going to break down what the numbers mean. So 18350, which is this size battery, means 18 across. 350 is 35 tall. The last zero means it's round. So an 18350 versus an 18650, what's going to be different is the height. Diameter's the same. They're both round. So the only number that's different is 35 versus 65. It's the height. Okay. So the device you see me using in all my videos is an Ovali V8. I do not recommend this device. This is a gripper style device or a box mod, whatever you want to call it there. I like it because it's very comfortable in my hand. I wear dress shirts. I can put it in the pocket and all that sticks out is the little drip tip. You can take the drip tip off, put the little rubber piece on the end of the cartridge, and nobody sees it. Okay, so most mods, though some are mechanical, they just make a physical connection and they take a battery. Most mods that are not mechanical will have a variable voltage. That's what the screen is, and I know when I hit the button all you'll see is a red light, but you can change the voltage up or down. This particular device goes from 3 volts to 6 volts, and that's what this device is. You've seen me take a puff on it before. Now, some other devices you'll see are tube style mods. This happens to be a Young June lava tube. Has a couple more features than the Ovali. Has a higher price tag too. Picked up the Ovali for $25. Paid a little more than I'd like to admit for this. But that being said, this one can check the resistance of the attached coil, stuff like that. It functions the same. I can change it up or down. You hit the button, take a vape. Okay, so we started talking about resistances. What happens is with an e-cigarette or a mod, all they are is basically a battery or a way to get batteries to produce to a 510 connector or whatever type of connector you have. You have small batteries like the blue. You have devices that aren't devices, they're just a battery like the Ego, and then you have mods that have the other two types of batteries we talked about. Those is what's the actual mod is doing, or device is doing, or e-cig is doing. What makes the vapor is a coil. It's a little piece of wire wrapped around. It's like connecting two 9-volt batteries together. You put them together, it gets hot. You're heating up the juice. So the first way that a lot of people learn about is an atomizer. Little tiny thing. Has nothing in it other than a coil, a bridge. You can get bridgeless ones, and a connector. That's all there is to it. Now, cons about them is it takes a lot of maintenance. The maintenance on it, if you're dripping, you put 2 drips in, you vape, 10 puffs later, drip more. If I'm sitting down writing a review or whatever and chain vaping for like 3 hours, I'm dripping every 5 minutes, if not more. So that gets a little bit tedious. So next we move up to cartomizers. What these are, they're longer than an atomizer, as you can see. They're filled with cotton or poly, and they have your coil in the middle. So you put your juice in them, let it soak up. Once it's soaked, you're good to vape. And it takes a lot longer before it runs out of juice than an atomizer does. And that wasn't good enough for some people. So what they did was they took a cartomizer, punched a hole in it, and put it inside of a tank of juice. I personally do not like this method. I vape different juices. Some are anywhere from the Camel review, which I did, which even leaked on my Vivi, which we'll talk about next, thin as water, up to Boba's Bounty, thick as molasses, okay? So your VG-PG ratio is going to affect how thick it is. Since it's only a hole to go through and it's filling up cartridge that way, or cartomizer I should say that way, not everything flows at the same rate. So we move next into the Vivi Nova. What the Vivi Nova is, it's a cross between a tank and a CE4 style clearomizer. Avoid these. That's why I'm not even mentioning them. If you're doing this, go with a Vivi Nova. These are basically disposable Vivi Novas. A Vivi Nova at its base has 2 metal caps and a detachable head. So when you burn out your head, you just simply take off the head, put a different one on. They're cheaper to replace than cartomizers are, but the initial investment's a little bit higher. So that's your basic juice delivery. What you decide to go with, completely your call. I'm going to put up some price points in my next video when I talk about what to buy, so keep an eye out for that.
What you want? What you